Good afternoon. Welcome to our very first media edition of State of the Nation right here on 24 News TV. My name is Ruth Ugu. Recently, topics that are forming headlines in the nation are about bandits attack, rape, and even murder. Today, our special guest, Honorable Bimbo Daramola, I hope I got that correctly, will help us throw more light on the security challenges the country is facing. Thank you for joining us today, sir.
Thank you very much. Well, I didn't know, when I came in here, I was dumbstruck to think that the proprietor had been cooking something this nice, this very tasty stew. And I'm indeed very, very delighted that I could make it to the station. And all I see is a patriot, a man who is visionary, and somebody who is determined. And I'm too sure the story of this station will be one that people should look out for in years to come. I see the energy between the workforce. And more than anything else, I think I'm extremely delighted that you've made me the first guest at a time like this.
Yes. Thank you very much again. All right, let's go right into it. Insecurity in the country. Now, there are lots of people who believe that there is a special elite, a group who are not directly influenced by insecurity, who are not affected by insecurity in the country. Do you agree with that narrative?
Well, I don't think that's very possible because you cannot create borders. You cannot create borderlines and framework for insecurity. About a month ago, I put something up on my page on Facebook, and I said, well, victims now, it's going to be very difficult for anybody to say to you that I'm immune, nothing is going to happen to me in one form or the other. If you're not, even if you decide to have all the money, you can shield yourself, you can wall yourself in.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is that you have relatives, you have friends, you have cousins, you have all of those guys. And if it doesn't affect you in one form, it affects you in the other form. Right. Today you want to travel, you're checking your time. Only last week, a friend of mine was burying his father in Ekiti, and I got on the plane. Of course, it was delayed. We were supposed to leave Abuja for 11:30, and eventually the plane came at about 2:30, and we got to like 3:30. But I couldn't make it to Isegba, the place, because I had to drive for 2 hours. And everybody kept on telling me, you gotta be careful. This is not one thing you want to take at a time like this. So, if you're planning a party now, your cost centers will increase because you have to make provision for security and all of those things. So, there's no way you can say, oh, this guy is immune and all of those things. So, it's going to be very difficult to say there's a special elite that is immune to the realities that we face today.
You are a man who is very loved by Nigerian youths. I don't think you understand how loved you are. During the NSAS protest, there are lots of youths who are singing your praises on social media, especially Twitter. As a matter of fact, lots of people were actually advocating that you contest for a bigger office, a higher office. We'll get to that in a little bit. But what do you think about protests as a way to get government attention? Because the situation of insecurity, is it something you would support? Do you think Nigerian youth should march just like they marched for the NSAS protest?
Let me say this to you. You don't build a nation thinking you're making homeland.
Okay.
It's a serious thing. Nation building, one of the features of building a nation that works is what we're seeing here. Now, back to your question. Any form of legitimate agitation, anything that gives credibility and validates the fact that power belongs to the people.
Okay.
I am totally for it.
You're saying if there is another protest right now, you would support?
Absolutely. Because there must be opportunity, people must be given the opportunity. In fact, the section, chapter 2 of Nigerian Constitution, section 14, subsection 3, advocates for inclusiveness of the citizenry.
That is very correct.
It's there. So, and when they say our constitution is defective, one of the things I say to people is that, have we really tested the letter? No, we're looking at the letter, we're not looking at the spirit of the constitution. The truth of the matter is that for you to continually be in a position to hold your government accountable, it must be interactive. You cannot fold your hands because, oh, elections are over, we're waiting for another round of elections before we give expression to what we believe in. That would be wrong.
Right.
What we need to do is to permanently, and that's why I had an NGO called Proactive Citizens Initiative. I believe very strongly that government will deliver more, or it will be impressionably clear that government has to do more when the citizens are involved. So it's not so much about whining on like my friends on Twitter and all the social media platforms and all those things. The Sorosoke generation could do much more. I'll give you a quick example, and I'm coming back to what you've said. Let's do the maths. It's estimated that the population of this country is about 200 million, right?
Yes.
And it's also been said that about 2/3 of this population falls between the ages of 18 and 35.
Exactly.
Fantastic. All right. So if you find that number, that means you're talking about 120 million people.
Young people.
Young people within those ages. That's right. And of course, in the entire continent of Africa, recognizably so, people have spoken about the youth bulge. There's a bulge of that people in that population. Hold on, keep your eyes on what I've said. Now come on to this. 33.3% of Nigerians are unemployed. So by the same token, applying the same percentages of 2/3, that obviously also signifies that 33% will be 60 million people between the ages of 18 and maybe 40 who are unemployed. All right, keep your eyes on that. Now you come to the profile of the elections. President Buhari won that election with about 50 million votes. Atiku scored 12 million votes. The aggregate of the two results will come to about 27 million. Now, if you have a population of 60 million people, are you strong enough to give expression to what you believe in and to upstage that? You have the capacity. You have the numbers, and there is the beauty of numbers. Democracy advocates for numbers. That's why it's a majority rule.
Right.
Right. So, in the case of asking whether people should still protest and all of those things, there are basic underlying issues that people must connect themselves with.
Right.
Why do we have to protest? What is this protest supposed to achieve? Who leads this protest? What are the kind of things we're looking forward to? The NSAS didn't have that clearly demarcated or articulated. Yes, I supported those. Again, I'm in love with young people. That everybody knows that.
They love you too.
I'm very grateful that I have that privilege of young people being on my side. You know, in Ekiti State, I don't know if you speak Yoruba, they say "I'm Baba away" and things like that. They say all kinds of things. They know. I've gone to campaigns before, and young people will come to me and say, "I like your shoes," and I will remove it and give it to them. I've gone to campaigns before, and they say, "Oh, we like your shirt, we like your shirt," and I'll strip it and give it to them, and I walk home without my shirt on. Now, why do I do all of this? I believe that my generation, which is the bridge generation, is about eclipsing.
Okay.
And we need to mentor and groom more people who have the energy, who have the capacity, who have the guts, who have the drive to take over. If I lose my adolescence, and I lose my youthfulness, and I lose my middle age, I shouldn't lose my, retirement age. I hope that I can get to like 60, 70 and all of those things. All of those things that I anticipated that I would have been able to do when I was in the parliament, and that we couldn't do, or that the political class has not been able to achieve today. If we get it in 10 years, it will be too way behind, but it will be nice enough that as I eclipsed out of political life, I could go to the hospital without anything and get serviced. I could get my grandchildren to go to school, public school like I did, and then they get served very well. I could ensure that people have power and all of those things. That's the essence. So, will I support a protest today? Yes, I will support a protest that's meaningful because it provides an opportunity for people to ventilate what they feel about government.
All right, sir. It's been established that young people need to play more role in government, in administration. But as it concerns insecurity, it's a very sensitive subject. Do you have so much confidence in them as regards to insecurity?
Now, if there are 10 people in this room, and 10 people fall between the ages of 16 and 30, let's say 6 people are between the ages of 16 and 40. 3 people are between the ages of 40 and 55. 1 person is between the ages of 55 and 70. If anything happens in this room, God forbid, if anybody throws any, let's say, bomb, whatever it is, there are chances that more people will be victims out of the age where you have the greater number of people, right? So you're looking at a population of about 120 million people on the average guesswork, statistically assumed that we're right. Now, insecurity. By reason of numbers, more young people get kidnapped. By reason of numbers, more soldiers between the ages of 18 and 35 or 40, 40, they're killed. How many people are in the military or on the front lines who are 55 years old?
Mm-hmm.
So, when you look at all of these indices that I've spoken about, it's almost compelling that the young people, the younger generation who call themselves fashionably the Sorosoki generation, should not only speak, but do. It's not how much of what we say, but how much of what we do. I would expect that. Again, make no mistakes about it. The fact that you're young does not also inherently mean that you know what to do.
Very correct.
Right. So, I'm sorry to say, a 70 or 55 or 60-year-old man who does not have character, who does not have competence, who does not have capacity, and I'm not speaking to anybody, but I'm just saying, broadly speaking, that if you find people between the ages of 50 or 55 or 60 and above who can't deliver, okay, they're as bad as young people who are within the ages of 18 and 30 who have next to nothing. And that's one of the reasons why I think that we're mismanaging the opportunity that the social media should give to us. Because everybody has opportunity to get data and get all of those things, you can just throw anything out. How much of critical input do we get out of these contributions from these young people?